Thank you so much, Prof. So at this moment, I would like to open the floor for a while. So we are mindful of time. We just need to, please, again, kindly summarize just make it brief. A brief one is better, please. So we won't spend 5 minutes, here and there. No, just put it there. I want to know about this and this and this and this and drop it so we can have more people. If you spend 5 minutes on your own, you have denied 3 people their chances. We only have 5 slots. Let's use 7 slots. Yeah, 2 minutes or 1 minute, or let's say 1 minute, so we can have more. Okay, let's take the number. But of course, on our colleagues online, please, in case you have questions, kindly, of course, let's allow them. Let's raise your hand, we'll allow you, but you need to signify by raising your hand. So we are going to count right now. If you're not in that part of that counting, I won't be able to call you, please. We are trying to work according to time. So let's see, raise your hand, and we do the kind of schedule, then we follow the schedule strictly, so we can move to the next thing today. Kindly start, okay?
Thank you so much, Professor Agao. My first question is for you. Professor Omojola. Of course, he's my daddy. We've been together for a while. My first question, sir, is on how do we balance, as a composer, how do we balance the markets, writing for the market? Because this is also similar to what happens in the popular music square. Writing for the market and against writing for, this is what I really want to do. How do you balance that? And if you can also touch base on that, on scholarship also. Some people want to write what people like reading or like arguing about, against doing something original. Yesterday, I think you talked about artistic truth, artistic integrity, and I captured that in your word. The second question will be on looking back 30 years down the line now that you wrote that book. How would you describe the dissemination or the distribution of Nigerian art music now? Are there rooms for improvement in terms of circulation?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. No, I don't write for the market. I just write to satisfy myself. Yeah. I'm not thinking of, I'm going to make this money or that kind of thing. I'm composing, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And as I said, there's a strong pedagogic element to my compositional work, because I'm looking at my students. These are things that we do together. We bring in all the professionals, the orchestra, and then we get artistic director, costuming, and so on and so forth. So there is a strong pedagogic thing to my compositional work. I never imagined that anybody will play my music. They will say, you paid 1 million on Spotify. It's 1 million. I'm not, So I just write. I'm happy about what I'm doing. The other question was Nigerian art music. It's online. The practice of Nigerian. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot going on. I mean, I don't live in Nigeria, so you have to speak to Sheung and, but over there is, it's still poor. It's still poor. There are occasional things. I mean, in November, I organized an African pianism event. Professor Gau was a keynote speaker. I brought a pianist who came around. I selected the pieces, Akinyuba, Uzoegwe, Nala Mata, an Egyptian composer, and then Fredo. Those were the pieces that I brought. And I think Nketia was also there. Those are the pieces. And you have things like that. They are very occasional.
Sorry, sir. You might need to let them know that not the Nketia that is popular.
Is there another popular Nketia?
Nketia, the late.
It's the same one.
It's the same one.
Musicologist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't say I brought him. He died like 2 years ago. But we did his music.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I just wanted to.
If I saw Kete there, I will run away. So we did his music, Akiuba's music, Inkitia's music, Fredo's music, Nalamata's music. I think there is a name now that I can't remember. And then, so, those kind of things, they happen occasionally. The black composers generally are still marginalized. They're marginalized. So it's so you have to be active in the process of performing your own work. If you just sit down there and you think somebody will perform it, stay there, But once you're able to introduce it, yesterday Shin was talking about, how then once you create it, then you put it out there and you see what happens later. If it's a young work like Formula, which is just 2 years old, we don't know how. Maybe in 10 years' time, more people will be performing it. So I would say that it's still dismal, significantly dismal. Patronage of it has improved, of course. With some of the presenters spoke about Kogyoko and the Wigmont Hall in London. You have those isolated occasions, but generally speaking, it's still it could be a lot better in terms of patronage. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, sir, for this inspiring moment. We have, you also mentioned it, which has to do with publication, publishing in great places for one's contribution to scholarship to be known. I wouldn't say unfortunately, but in
Fortissimo.
Okay. Currently in Nigeria, publication kind of is taking, well, as if you have not published, in some places.
As a scholar.
Yes, as a scholar in international journals, one will not be taken serious. And in a way, for me and quite a number of people, we kept thinking, you still want us to keep depending on, on the foreign thing, and are we not coming back to this intellectual colonialism again? You and someone like you, Professor Agao, you are there. I wouldn't say they've taken you from us, even though you are still here. But I must say that, for example, when we met at the conference at Switzerland, Professor Dr.
I think you round up now. You are still the time. Yeah.
She gave me some of the articles that I've never seen. I'm like, and they were published over there. I'm like, hey, they are taking everything away from us. Yeah. So the question is, sir, what can we do here that will make some of our own things, accepted? Then second question is that some of your works, getting them, it has been mentioned before now, but I still want your works, even some of your public, access to them, easy access to them, sir. How do we get them? Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, there is an irony in the suggestion that we should publish our work in reputable journals. But then at the same time, it might also mean conforming to certain standards, certain expectations that some people might think are extension of colonialist discourses. Yeah, that's a big problem. That's a big problem. Yeah, I agree that there is some contradiction in that. I think that maybe what we should do is to be counting. How many articles have you written? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 27. But if there can be a balance between quantity and quality internally implemented, because I think that some 20, 25 years ago, there are some journals published in Nigeria, like Historical Society of Nigeria. There was a journal called African Notes at Ibadan. People from abroad were rushing to publish in them. So if we can restore that sense of integrity, and then don't lay too much emphasis on numbers, because people then get desperate. You want to become a reader, and they say you must have 17. I don't think it should just be just 17. It's like something that represents quality work, and that represents a sense of progress. Actually, it's about how you are developing as a scholar. That should be the focus rather than numbers. So in that case, people can then publish locally. I agree with you. But again, there may also be situations, depending on the topics, that you also want to, because intellectual work is not local work, it's global. You may also want to confront some of these colonialist discourses and deal with them in your research, and then send it over there. So you can engage with them, But it's not as easy as I'm saying them. But I do agree that there is that element of contradiction in putting all our eggs abroad, so to speak, as a marker of qualitative research, whereas that also has its own consequences. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Next, please.
Thank you, sir. I have two simple questions. Maybe they have layers, but the first one is, would you say Nigerian art music paved way for African art music? If so, what are like the major contributions of the earlier Nigerian composers, especially in terms of their works here? And what are the boundaries between these two genres or two styles? Are they different? Can I use these words interchangeably?
Nigerian art music.
And African art music, yeah. And because if we think about composers in South Africa, they don't use these terms. And how do their music, what's the boundaries for African art music? When does it stop, or when does it, what's the connection? The second one is, what were the major patrons of who were the major patrons of the earlier composers, and how did that influence their work?
Yeah, good question. I think that, we know the big, actually I focus on Nigerian art music in that book. Let's take Ayorinde, for example. The BBC orchestra was a major patron. His African suite was performed by them, and then they commissioned his folk symphony to mark Nigeria's independence anniversary. And I think it was performed by Bournemouth Orchestra. So some kind of institutional support, especially when tied to the institutions of colonialism. So it's like, okay, Nigeria is getting independent, let's support them. And then Ayorinde was commissioned. But before then, he had been active in England in the 1940s and 50s, composing and performing. So it may be difficult to conflate African art music to Nigeria, because there are significant differences, even though there are overlaps. Take Egypt, for example. So while we are thinking in terms of maybe rhythmic parameters, most Egyptian composers are thinking in terms of pitch systems. The Hijaz mode. You have those major seconds, what might sound dissonant in the conventional tonal system, but which is part of their system. So there is a tendency for a pitch-oriented nationalism, music nationalism, in the music of Egyptian composers. I'm not saying we don't have pitch systems here, but we tend to, there's a lot of emphasis on rhythm here. Now, South Africa is different because it's a multifaceted musical demographics. First of all, art music was the powerful symbol of racism. It helped to enhance apartheid. It was one way that the notion of white superiority was entrenched in South Africa. So in the face of that, there was a new line of development among black composers of choral music via the church So it's difficult to bring all those things together. So what I'm trying to say is that even in a place like South Africa, the notion of art music becomes even more complex because of the history of apartheid in that country. But definitely there are overlaps as well across the different regions. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Next. Okay, okay, let's go online. Thanks so much. Okay, let's start from Mr. Gani Kale as usual. Then we go to Daniel Igogo. Then we go to Dr. Ayo Oluranti. Thank you. Mr. Kola.
I'm trying to get the audio here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can even see your face today.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Professor Omojola.
You are still there?
Yes.
Because I wanted to see you.
Listening to you today has really made my day. I had a series of questions, but I'm not going to go into that. I want to go into my specific area of interest because I don't know when next I might be able to have this opportunity with you. My formative year was spent in the streets of Lagos and the southwest of Nigeria playing guitar with juju musicians before I had to study music at the same university that you went, University of Nigeria. I'm sure you must know people like the late Mr. Olusegun Lukula and General Dayo Lafenwa-Jo, we call him Lafenjo. They were the undergraduates in 1980-82 when when I was inspired to study music myself, and I was able to study at Nsukka, where your presence as students was very well pronounced throughout my stay. Now, having said that, my area of concentration in our scholarly discussion is juju music. I mean, not surprisingly. Now, while your scholarship has profoundly shaped the academic discourse on Nigerian art music, I have found that my genres like juju, despite its profound cultural and technological sophistication, it remains significantly underrepresented in both Nigerian and diaspora musicological research. So in my own postgraduate work here in the UK, I encountered a near total absence of academic resources on juju music technology. I mean, beyond scattered mention in works by Waterman, Elijah Brown, and yourself. So how do you explain this gap in our musicological framework? How might we move beyond the ethnographic or heritage lens to engage more seriously with the compositional, technological, and aesthetic innovations embedded in juju music as a legitimate site of African music theory and analysis? I mean, because take it or leave it, the genre is dying, but it has contributed so immensely to the cultural, Nigerian cultural heritage. Well, let me not take too much time. This is basically what I would like to discuss with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think my first response will be that you may need to visit Nigeria and go to departments, because I think there is a lot of undergraduate, MA, PhD work going on popular music that may not be visible to you because they are locally. I don't think there is any collection of bibliographical material on works, theses that people are submitting. So I think consider, as part of your ethnographic research, to go to departments, go to Ibadan, go to Ife, go to Unilag. There are things that are LASU, that are going on. You are going to get resources. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so absolutely, sir. I did search for a lot of materials. I can say that I've been quite resourceful. But the question, I realized that most of the resources available, even by the likes of Michael Veal on Tony Allen and Fela and the rest of them, and the other theses and dissertation that have come across in Nigeria from academia and the rest of that, quite a lot of those resources there. But the thing is, the questions they are asking does not address it does not reflect what I am looking for, what I felt we should be doing with juju music. In terms of technology, I realize that we have a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, ethnographic discussion about the social impact and all that. But when it comes to the practical application of that genre in academia, it is absent.
So I think that, so thank God you are doing this job, right? So you are doing this job, and I think that your work is going to be remarkable in terms of its importance. But what you might consider doing is to look at parallel popular music genres from other parts of Africa. I say this to my students when they are doing their project, say there is no literature on, Davido, that kind of thing. You can look at parallel genres from different parts of Africa and see whether there are theoretical constructs that you may use. And then you can imagine how overwhelmingly new your work is going to be when it comes out. And it's going to inspire, because you are at York University, I believe in Canada, so when your thesis comes out, it will be visible, and it's going to inspire a lot of people. So that might be one way because you cannot give up now, right? So look at parallel examples from South Africa, from Ghana, from Ethiopia, and then see how you can use that as a basis of thinking about your own approach.
Thank you, Prof. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Ganikala is the Okay, can we have the next person, Mr. Daniel Igogo, please?
Thank you so much, Prof, and our facilitator. And it has really changed the course of my thinking, the form of my thinking, engaging with this platform. I must thank Mr. Abraham for sharing the link on his WhatsApp status. That's how I got to know about this, and I joined. Also, my teacher is seated somewhere at the back there. My name is Daniel. I just finished from Muson, and I'm very interested in research. Okay. One of the questionnaires that has asked one of the questions I wanted to ask, but the other two questions are: with the advent of AI and the lack of resources, and maybe some form of very close mentoring, I want to ask, Prof, is there any advice you would have for those of us who are aspiring to write and write well, like you have described, so that we can, what are the possible routes we should take? What are the things we should do to make sure that our writings are deep enough?
Yes, thank you. Prof, can hear you. Yeah.
So you're talking about writing, research, and things like that. How people could be empowered, right? I mean, I don't know whether you listened to Professor Agawu's interaction. I think that first of all, we're available. You can reach people like me, and there's some kind of advice you need about reading a particular article or interpretation, not that I'm going to have any answer. Professor Gawu, I know him, so busy and he's always open to respond to requests, so you can reach us. I think that, the fact that you are raising these questions means that you are critically aware of the problem, and I think that is going to motivate you into how to solve this problem. I believe you have access to literature that might be relevant to your work, and you can also reach us. But I think that ultimately is about what you want to do and being committed to doing it. And so I know my response is a bit generic at 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. But we can talk more. And as I said, I don't want to put Professor Gawu on the spot, but I know that he's ready to listen and advise and help, that kind of thing. Please be in touch. You are based in Nigeria?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you can reach us. We can talk.
Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Okay, good. I want to throw the challenge back to you. Now go on YouTube. Search for the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. Have you done that? If you have seen it, check for,
okay.
we have more than 4 episodes on pedagogue, on basic writing techniques. That's one option. The second option, every Thursday from 1 to 3 o'clock, every Thursday throughout the year, we have what we call the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. On that platform, the people you see is the likes or the status of Professor Omojola. In fact, some of us, his lectures are there. And now, those of Professor Gawu will definitely be there. Then, the third option, find your way to the Organ House, Department of Music, Mountaintop University. Daniel, I'm promising you.
You will never be the same again.
Yes. So, officially, I am actually inviting you, or come on a visit, ask for Dr. Ayorinde or Dr. Bayo Oyemi, then come and tell him your problem. That way. Thank you. Please, I'm very serious now. Go online, Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. We have more than 60 recordings of very well, materials that will help you develop, even if you don't do anything again. I promise you. Thank you so much. Can we have Dr. Olurunwati, please?
Thank you very much. Once again, let me seize this opportunity, maybe the last opportunity, to thank Professor Gawu and Professor Omojola for coming from the heavenlies as gods to come and dwell with mortal beings. Well, we are happy that it's happening on the top of the mountain anyways. I'm not going to ask, what I want to ask, 2 things I want to ask Prof. They're not scholarly. I'm just wondering whether his story is similar to that of Akin Yuba. I mean, when we hear Akin Yuba today, most people will tell you was an ethnomusicologist, a composer. Not a lot of people know how much of a beast he was on the piano. We had so many stories of him bashing away major sonatas in those days with Music Second University of Ibadan. Today, too, when we talk about Bode Omojola, I think it's mostly his paper-based scholarship that we interact with. And I wonder, as you have documented a lot of musicians, have you documented yourself as a performer? Because we understand you're a fantastic pianist. I had so many stories about you and the piano from the late Christopher Ayorinde, but we've never seen you perform. So I don't know, have you documented this part of you? And then secondly, tell us, what really excites you? Is it your paper-based scholarship or your creativity? Is it the paper writing, books writing that really gingers you? or is it you composing or performing? Or I mean, what's the situation like? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Ayo. I was expecting a tougher question. Because anytime you see Ayo with his that is Yoruba cap. No, my story or my history is different from Akiuba. We all have individual stories, individual histories. So it's like, who am I to be compared to Akiuba? Because, Akiuba was dealing with this problem almost on his own at that time. He was alone. You could see him struggling in his articles. He's asking these questions today. He's asking another set of questions tomorrow. He was committed to it, And so Akiuba's story is definitely different from mine. Regarding which one drives me more, composition or research, I would say both of them. When you're creating something that you are happy about, you feel good. At the same time, I love, doing research. When I go to my study upstairs, my wife will come and drag me out. But I have been more productive as a scholar for this singular reason of what I said earlier on, that you have a job, there are things you need to do, and you have to teach, you have to prepare for your teaching, and teaching in the US is difficult. It is difficult. You cannot just put your hands in your pocket and enter the classroom as I used to do, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, what's happening today? I'm not demeaning Nigerian educational system in any way. It is rigorous. You have to prepare. A student could ask just one question, that you just happen, of course, now that we are tenured, we are endowed with chairs, we could just say, I don't know. But when we were, struggling to be tenured, to become full professors, to become, but even then, you also don't want to be saying, I don't know, in front of your students. You prepare everything. So you are teaching for 1.5 hours, you prepare for 6 hours. That is what happens in the US, So that's why you wouldn't have enough time to do creative work. Now, as a pianist, again, don't compare me to Akiuba. Something that I think I did and I excelled in was sight reading. I was a good sight reader. So I'm going to tell you a story. I won't mention any name. So there was this concert, a big one, and this singer was there on the stage in one of the campuses. And it was during, don't say that one. And then they were seated. I was in the audience, and the singer was on stage, and then they clapped, he bowed, and then he looked in the direction of the piano. There was no pianist because, hey, I should be careful. This is on the internet. Because for some reason the pianist couldn't come. Maybe he took ill or something, So all eyes went to me. All eyes went to me. Don't go, buddy, don't go. So I went and sat at the piano. It was like a 1-hour concert. So we will open a piece. The singer and I will put our heads together. This one is 6 sharps. I can't do this one. No. So this one is in G major, is in E flat. I'll do them. So we ended up not being able to do 2 or 3 pieces. We did the concert. It was a successful recital. So I knew how to sight read, which meant that you can cheat a little, right? You know, there is one note that wants to disturb your finger. Leave that one. You know, you keep the motion going. You keep the motion going. Make sure you don't miss the modulations. You know, if it's only the leading notes and the root of that chord, you're able to do that. But you don't miss the thought too. But you know, and it went fantastically well. My friend Bate, Dr. Bate, he's of blessed memory. He said, "Bode, if I wasn't there, I would not believe what just happened." You know. So I think that's what you might have been hearing about me, Ayo. Not that I was a concert pianist or a concert organist like you, but I knew how to sight read. At Nsuka, I was accompanying most of the stuff, you know, choral performances. I would go there and accompany. So that's where it is. But don't invite me to come and accompany your choir now, because I'm out of practice right now. So that's my story, and I'm happy I'm able to tell this story publicly about my sight reading skills. Yeah, thank you.
So, there's one question that I also want you to clarify. This has been around, particularly in this part of the world, you know. Is there anything like paper-based research or paper-based scholarship?
Talk a little bit about it.
Ashwin?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, what is research? What is the need for research? First of all, it's about knowledge. What's the need for knowledge? To propagate our society. There are layers of research. We have artistic research. We have creative research. Then we also have what we call the classic, the foundational, which is about literature, like the one we've been discussing.
Is that what you are referring to as paper-based, the literature?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
people use, paper-based.
Okay. So I can talk now.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, at times, you know, we use different terminologies. Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe we'll call it library-based research. You know, when there is no kind of ethnographic or, you know, things, you just, maybe it's about a particular theory you're trying to understand. You want to understand, you know, semiotics. Professor Gawu is like one of the greatest semioticians in the world. Please, yeah, clap for him. You know, so, and then you are reading his work, and it's like, they told me Professor Gawu writes very clearly for people to understand, but this one I'm not getting it, because, yeah, I can't force you to understand what you don't understand, you know. So if you are dealing with some really dense literature, then it will take you a while. And then you get your theoretical underpinnings that will provide the basis for some other research that you might want to do, go into the field and so on and so forth. But there are some people who don't know how to write. When you read their work, read it 1,000 times. You won't, those are bad writers. That is a lot. So when we say you have to read, is if the thing is well written, you know, sorry, Kofi, I keep mentioning your name, you know, you'll get it. But there are some people who are popular, but who don't know how to write, because they are throwing big words that's difficult for you to understand. In fact, I won't mention names. There is one famous scholar who won the Worst Writer Award for 1 year. Yeah. It was, you know, a famous scholar, you know. So that one, you may have to throw away the book and look for something else. But generally speaking, good articles need more and more research. So I'm thinking about library-based research, if that's what you are referring to as paper-based research.
Okay. Now, I'm asking this question particularly for students who are here, Nigerian context now. In Nigeria, within the musicological cycle, there is different underlying perception about you doing research as a researcher. In fact, there's a distinct ideological differences in terms of those who believe if you don't play piano, you're not a musician. So those who are doing research, they're just wasting their time. It's paper-based. So it is used in derogatory, it's very in ways that, okay, these ones, they are just paper musicians. And these ones, they are composers and this and this. Of course, this is everywhere, almost everywhere. People have this, a bit by bit of this sentiment here and there. But in our immediate environment, it's so strong that people believe, okay, if you are going for master, you are going for music, and they ask you, what are you doing? I'm doing research. And is that music? So they say, I really want you to help, unpack that and people to see the reality of what that is.
I mean, if you have chosen to study ethnomusicology, then it's the kind of research that some people are saying is not good, right?
Yeah.
But you have chosen to do that. You shouldn't allow anything to distract your attention. Remember some big names who did those paper research, who are great now, right? That you are meeting and you're talking with. So don't let that distract you. But the person who is also playing the piano needs to do research regarding the pieces that they are playing, the historical context, interpretation, and so on and so forth. The person who is doing composition, if you cannot be a good composer without doing research. I know somebody, I won't mention his name now, who is doing a big compositional project right now, and who has been traveling to different parts of Nigeria to do research. So research is common to every discipline. But those of us who have decided to do the more kind of academic-oriented research, whereby we want to write papers, we want to understand phenomena, we want to understand social reality, history, social dynamics, and then everything applied to music, that is our calling. And you are the knowledgeable, you are empowered, because you are intellectually empowered. So I don't think you should feel bad about that. In any case, you've decided to do it, right? So continue to do it. And you shouldn't worry about whether some people think, oh, you're just wasting your time. You're not wasting your time. You knew why you entered that program, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you
a little bit.
Exactly. But of course, I'm happy that we are having this conversation, because this is quite strong at different corners. People believe, okay, if you don't play piano, you are just those two.
No. Kofi is here. Maybe it's the other way around in some American music departments. Yeah. If you look at the department, there's a kind of hierarchy. And the people on top are the scholars. Yeah. If you go to a conservatoire, it's a different story. But a typical music department, there is hierarchy. And that hierarchy weighs heavily in favor of the scholars. So the musicologists, the ethnomusicologists, the theorists, those are the people that tend to be in charge of departments. In fact, in many departments, most of the performance faculty are part-time.
Yeah.
They're part-time. Most of them, they're part-time. There may be 2 or 3, maybe one violin teacher, one clarinet, one in the 4 areas, and then all the other ones are part-time faculty members.
Thanks so much, Prof.
Yeah.
I think just a bit, what I can say, just one word, is that whatever you do, as Professor Agawu, Professor Omojola have said in the last 3 days, do it well. If you want to be a researcher, you can be like the next Agawu tomorrow. You can be like the next Bode Omojola tomorrow. The reality we've been discussing in the last 3 days is that there's nowhere in the research cycle, in the music field, when you talk about African musicology or anything as African culture, these 2 names will definitely come up, either in Asia, either in Europe. For me, that's a big deal, you see. So the point is, whatever you choose to do, you want to become a pianist, become the best pianist. If you are not part of the first 10 in your field, then you have done. So you need to aspire to be part of the first 10. When they are mentioning 10 in your environment, let's not say region, in your environment, be among the first 10. And the same thing applies to if you want to be a researcher. Don't be the researcher that you will become the mockery of your field. Don't do that. Don't do that. So if you want to be a researcher, be a top-notch researcher that people will envy your work, and yet they will still use it. You see that? Yeah, let's keep it that way. So me, I want to be the likes of Bode Omojola. You too, aspire to be something like that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So in closing, we have two people online that I think we should allow just for one minute. We have Professor Adeyemi Okunade, 1 minute, sir. And we also have somebody that I think is very important for this conversation, so Mr. David Aino. So please, this is me using my authorial chair, my chair position to open this door. Yes, please. Pardon? So please, let's use one minute, please. Thank you so much. Let's have Professor Adeyemi Okunade, please.
Thank you, everybody. I will not be able to show my face because I'm not in the best environment for now. Chair, since you have given yourself that authority, I'm giving you this, I don't know if I'm qualified to give you this assignment before we round it off, that I will plead with you, use your position very well to put Professor Bode Omojola on the spot and Professor Kofi Agawu on the spot. I'm riding on Dr. Roti's comment that they should just give the audience both, I mean, in person and those of us here, just few minutes on the piano. Both of them are fantastic pianists. So those are just coming, seeing them for the first time. We just think that, no, they are not just fantastic researchers. I can tell you.
Adeyemi,
sir,
we have heard you. Thank you. Bye. Next.
Okay, I think the
Chairman, please use your position to do that.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Well, I understand your point, but I have just one point. Professor Agawu and Professor Omojola, of course, they are fantastic performers, pianists. I have an experience which can bail us out of this, Professor Agawu, on many occasions, I've been under his teaching. I remember that topic theory class at Stellenbosch, those seminars we had. And one day, we were playing, perhaps the thing wasn't working so well. And I saw him, he stood from the seminar seat, and he went to the piano. Do you know what he did? Mozart, there's a particular sonata, and he played the first 8 bar. I was looking at him, huh? Yeah. We were taking topic theories. We were talking about, okay, this is the on section, it means this, and he was playing and he was explaining those things.
Yeah,
so,
and we're not doing topic theory today.
Yeah, so this is just...
Next speaker.
Yeah, so let's go to the next person. Okay, Mr. David Aino, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Professor and Uncle Bode, Uncle Bode and Professor Agawu, I'm so fortunate to be part of this workshop. The question I had wanted to ask when Professor Agawu was speaking or was on the spot, let me not say question. It was an observation that I had some time ago, and I think I discussed with Ayorinde. If I have been using Sibelius software to write music and so on for some time now, and there was the day that Professor Omojola gave me some work to do, and I wanted to use some African instruments. So I went to World Instruments on Sibelius, looking for shekere, agogo, and all those things. And I tried to click Africa under the World Instruments. The instruments I saw there had nothing to do with agogo. And now, curiously, I went to Americas and I found things like agogo, shekere, and all of those things, and bata. To my astonishment, how could bata and all of those things come under Americas when bata is known to belong to the Yoruba or the or agogo or whatever, any one of those ones? What are they looking for in the Americas? Is there anything
done
Kindly
to
round up,
probably... Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's my astonishment, and I don't know. I'm just... We have lost something there.
Yeah. So you were
I mean,
able
it's
to use
not...
you
I
were
don't...
able you were able to use your agogo.
Yes,
They're
but
under
what
America.
are they doing under Americas? That's my question. And
Okay.
isn't there anything that can be done by African scholars or us? Let me not
Okay.
exclude myself. Us, that these things, we are being misrepresented. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I agree. I agree.
Thank you so much. Well, thank God you have the same position for Mr. Gani Kale. Perhaps you can also, in your research, please, let's help us mediate it. Let it be focus of our research. You can take up the lead, then definitely people will follow you.
And report back to us.
Yeah.
No, actually, what he has, sorry to barge in like that, but I feel I need to respond to
We need to
that
go
gentleman.
now. You have 30 seconds, sir.
Well, let me just be very brief. This has been a very important, a very heated discussion here in York. I have put a lot of these technologies on the spot on this particular issue, most especially on the classification of African music and instrument and genre, like it was,
time is up,
like he
sir.
mentioned, right? And that's all right. It's just one of those things, but we are on it. We are on it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
What I'm going to do, Mr. David Aino, Mr. Gani Kale, and everyone who has something to say, of course, we have platform. We are curating the next seminar series for our next session for the next 12 months. So starting from 2 weeks' time, I will reach out to you. So all this conversation, let's have you. We'll definitely have a focused conversation with you. So please, I will reach out to you. And everyone who is interested, definitely. Organhouse is open for you. Every Thursday, we are here for you. So in some of these celebrations and in honor of this wonderful work, let's give a round of applause to Prof. And let's...
Thank you.
No, I joke, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are looking forward to that next publication.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you. So everyone, the next thing...